Hello, welcome friends. My name is Michael Levine. Welcome to another edition of Without Notes. I think the journey we're about to go on will be a most fascinating one, at least I hope so. Eliad Rosenberg is the curator of a most extraordinary facility that I had the privilege of visiting in Israel. Yad Vashem, better known maybe as the Holocaust Museum in Israel, is an experience that is exceedingly hard to describe if you've not done it. If you have done it, I imagine you understand what I'm trying to say, and if you've not done it, I commend it to you. It's hard to use words to explain the emotional transportation that happens within the entrance and exit. Eliad Rosenberg is our guest. She has come here in Los Angeles, direct from Israel. She's just off an airplane. She's confessed to me she's just the tiniest bit jet lagged, but she was very generous to agree to join our journey, our expedition, Without Notes, with Eliad Rosenberg. Welcome.
Thank you, Michael.
You had a good trip, I hope.
Yeah, a very good trip. Direct from Tel Aviv.
Wow. Now, how many hours? I know, but tell the audience, how many hours?
15 hours.
15
more even.
straight hours, yes.
Yeah.
I'd like to begin our conversation by learning a little bit about you. Please tell us, where were you born?
I was born in Paris.
Paris, France.
France, yeah.
Oui, oui.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. And your first language was French?
French,
yes.
Yeah, but I also learned Hebrew because my father is Israeli, and also I went to a Jewish school.
And in France?
In France, in Paris.
In Paris, born in Paris, okay.
And we lived for 2 years in Israel when I was a child.
Yes.
With my family, and then we came back to France. And at the age of 18, I decided to make Aliyah. Aliyah means to go up, literally. It means when you go to Israel, this is the idea behind it, there is a spiritual elevation taking place. So
yes.
This is why it's this direction. You go up.
So at age 18, now you were born and raised, you spent 2 years in Israel, but you were born and raised in Paris, and your family was there. Yeah. And at 18, you say to your family, I want to live, I want to move, I want to live, and move to Israel. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, how do your parents react to that?
Very positively, because they love Israel.
Yes.
It was, I was passionate about it. For me, it was clear that was the place I should live in. You know, today when I look retrospectively at this time,
yes.
Sometimes I wonder how did I have the courage to do that, you know,
yes.
alone and so on.
Well, this is important, and I want the audience to hear. So you're living in Paris, France, with your family, speaking French, and you say, I want to go to Israel, right? And I want to go alone. Now, you're an 18-year-old young woman at the time. Your family is supportive. But you do now, in hindsight, wonder what gave you the courage or the craziness to do it. Yeah. Wow. And if I were to ask you, Eliad, what was it that made you go? How do you answer me?
A very strong belief, I think, that I wanted to be part of the history of the Jewish people, and I felt the history of the Jewish people was taking place in Israel. I was aware of this incredible thing that was going on, that is still going on, and that's the state of Israel. And the fact that this unprecedented story that after 2,000 years of exile, the people of Israel went back to its land and was having this state. And I thought, I want to be part of history. I want to be part of this amazing endeavor, enterprise, and
Eliad,
on my small scale.
you arrive in Israel,
yeah.
you're age 18, you get settled in, and what do you do for work? What do you do for school? Tell me the plan as you arrive.
Well, the plan was that there was no plan. Since I knew the language, I didn't have to go through a preparatory year or so to learn Hebrew. I didn't need to go to a ulpan or so.
Yes.
So I had the luxury of being able to go directly to university, except I didn't know exactly what I wanted to study. So I said...
So when you arrive at university and they say, greetings, what do you want to study? You say, I don't know.
Well, yeah, almost. So I registered for things that I love. So it was art history and English literature, because I like literature, and I thought I know already French literature, so it's the opportunity to learn more about English literature and also to improve my English, and that's what I did.
Okay, so now you start on the journey in university. What university?
The Hebrew University in Jerusalem, in Mount Scopus.
And before that, were you a good student?
Yeah.
You're a good student.
Yeah.
Okay, so you select the things that you love. One is art history, one is English literature. How was your first year in Israel? What is that like? Was it
wonderful?
Wonderful?
Yeah, great experience.
What was most wonderful about it?
I think to meet people from all around the world in one place, you know, it was fantastic, really, to meet people.
And were the people welcoming?
Yeah, mostly.
Mostly welcoming.
Yeah.
So now you go to university, and off you go in art history and English literature. And then what happens next in the story?
What happens next in the story is that I continue. I study art history as a master's degree.
And as you do this for a period of time, this becomes what you feel you are meant to do in Israel.
Yeah, passion, yeah.
Wow, of course, what a preparation for your job. So now you graduate, and what becomes your first job?
Well, my first job is at the Hebrew University as an art researcher.
Yes, so you get a job at the same university you're studying as an art researcher.
At the Center for Jewish Art, studying...
Great opportunity.
Yeah. So I was part of a documentation project of synagogues and ritual objects.
Explain what a documentation project is.
Well, we would go with the Center for Jewish Art. We would go to synagogues in Israel and all around the world.
Yes.
To
document
the
art.
What was sometimes when the synagogue was still, alive. I mean, when there was still a community, so to describe the customs of the community, to describe the architecture of the place, and the ritual objects, that are used for the service. And so we took pictures and we described the objects,
documenting it,
and
explaining it, exploring it.
Exactly. Studying it, yeah.
Okay.
Very, very interesting.
And how long do you stay there in that job?
I stayed there for 5 years.
It's a good long time. Great. And then what happens next?
Well, I don't know if I should tell that story again.
If you choose.
As well, I don't know.
If you choose.
What happened was that at the time, but I wouldn't want to focus on that, but at that time there was a series of terrorist attacks in Israel.
Yes.
And I was...
What year is this?
2002.
In 2002, there becomes a series of terrorist attacks.
Yeah, even before. It started before.
Yes.
But on July, on the 31st of July 2002,
yes.
I was at the Hebrew University having lunch at the cafeteria.
Yes.
And then I survived a bombing.
A bombing.
At the university. It changed my life completely.
How so?
Well, I can say, after this trauma, I feel that there was a before and an after. Yes. I was not the same. Well, I'm of course the same person, but it's more than an incident. For me, it's a
transformation.
Yeah, it's a changing event in my life.
I understand. And 2002, and then what happens? And then how do you respond to this transformation?
Well, first of all, by talking about it, because I thought it was my duty to talk about the fate.
And by the way, here's how you don't respond. You don't respond by going back to France.
Oh, no. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Right. That is how you did not respond.
Oh, yeah, you're right. My way to respond, was to increase the awareness about the victims of terrorism in Israel, because I felt that worldwide people did not have
100%.
The understanding of what was going on in Israel. There was this kind of
equivalence.
Yeah, and a very biased way to talk about the victims of terrorism in Israel, as if Jewish victims were not victims, and there was only one side that was suffering, and so on. So it was very important for me to talk about our experience as victims of terrorism, and so that terrorism will stop. Yeah.